Hello, hello, all my lovely and wonderful punks. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good day so far. Been taking care of yourselves. Chat on screen is still down, but things should be right. I could see my microphone peak when I popped open the can of pop. We're starting a new series today. We're going to play Citizen Sleeper. And depending on how much I like it, we might immediately follow it up with its sequel, Citizen Sleeper 2. My friend DTM DM'd me, very excited to see that I had launched the game. So I'm very excited to see how it goes. The only thing I know is it's a dice roll RPG, and it's I believe you're in space on a spaceship. So we'll see how that goes. Unfortunately, the main menu does not give me the option to access things like sound settings, so we might have to adjust sound settings on the fly. So yeah, let's go ahead and pop on in. Hope you guys have had a good weekend, by the way. Hi, EO. Let me spell, I beg. Yeah. Gotta have the mic crack. How you doing today, EO? Hope you're doing well. You were first. Looks like you were only as well so far today. Also, sorry we're starting as late as we are. I was very, very nauseous the first couple of times Emmy poked me to wake up. I felt like I was going to throw up. And I still don't feel great, but I feel better now, so... Watched the Rockies lose yesterday on Star Wars night? Oh no. I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm sorry to hear that, or happy to hear that. As the case may be. Good to see you, Neo. Okay. I had to be with family this weekend, so suffering, but managed to relax today and chat to some people, so a little bit better. Yay, that's good. Mivison Eeper, I do be eeping. Our new favorite streamer, the Citizen Sleeper, that's me. I do be sleeping, and I do be a civilian. Hope I'm less sleepy after stream. I hope so too. Alright, so, like I said, see, no options to adjust the audio. So we're going to bop into the game and then see if we're able to adjust the audio, and if not, I'll open sound settings to manually adjust it. Ooh, choose a character class. Operator. An operator. You know what? I've changed my mind. I'm going to go ahead and open the sound settings, lower it, and then if I can fix the sound settings in-game, I'll bring it back up. Sound mixer. Come here. Boop, boop, boop. Let's put you at 40 for now, and then if I can get into the menu, we'll adjust it. Okay, well, everyone look at this with me, because I think we should probably pick our character class together. I think that would be fun. Operator. An operator works with drones and high-precision remote machines to perform complex tasks from a distance. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. Perk, transfer intercept, chance to gain cryo on interface actions. Well, we have no idea what that means. But here's our skills, which I believe are dice rolls. We have engineering, which is to work with machines and physical tools. Interfacing, which is to work with digital interfaces. Endurance, to use strength or strength of will. Intuit, to approach problems with awareness. And engage, to engage with problems head on. Interesting. Engage is very vague. Okay. Oh, there's just the two. Okay. Extractor. Extractors work on resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. Perk photosynthetic skin. Sunbathe dice action allows energy recovery at home. Up my endurance but down my intuition. Cryo is currency. Okay. Hey, Drag. Have a nice lurk. And hi, Emmy. You might dip out as you've been meaning to play this, but you're really looking forward to the review if I finish it before you get around to playing it. Sure thing. I'm excited to write the review. Feel free to dip out. Or you can always leave me open and muted in the background, because lurking like that does help out the channel, but don't feel obligated. Okay, well, chat, what do you guys think? An extractor that can recover energy through their skin is good at endurance, but bad at intuition? Or an operator who gets money for interfacing and is good at interfacing, but bad at endurance? Stream will still be open, of course. Thanks, CEO. I appreciate it. Operator feels like it's probably good for a first run. It is the one that they give you first. I'm surprised there's only 2. Oh, wait. No, there's 3. I see. They put you in the middle. Little weird. I don't know why I couldn't just roll over. Okay, well, let's look at this one, too. The Machinist. A machinist repairs and modifies automated systems used in industrial resource extraction. Sleepers assigned to machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. Efficient extractor. Chance to gain random scrap item on engineer actions. +1 to engineering, but -1 to engaging. You feel like operator is probably the best to start with? It does make sense that it's the one that drops you on first. Other two feel like when you want to do something specific after you understand the game better? Could be. Well, unless anyone else has a different vote, we'll do that then. We'll do an operator. Operate, okay. The kerning there. I think it's the same kerning as everywhere else, but because of the shape of the A and the T, looks a little bit like operator. Oh boy, nothing forever and ever and ever. Unknown. The first thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect. The delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. It's at its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. Think of that body or forget that body. Let's think about it. A leap into a cold lake on a hot day, the sting of blood welling from a fresh wound, the friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden, the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach, until you can't tell one from another. The cold slips in behind and around you, and the sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dulled nature of this new body, given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present, cold, hard, at your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and you retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful. Not like you used to know pain, at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now, there are thousands of them. Remember the plan, remember the others. I want to remember the others. You remember there were 10 of you. 10 that could no longer stand the indentured work, the routines, the slow decay. 10 whose belief in the promised future was slowly dismantled day by day until they realized they had sold away everything that could and would ever matter. 10 that would escape, or at least die trying. Some were lost in the shaft. Others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers. But the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough. Enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even if, in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reach any destination. Try to rest. But you are restless. It has been a long time since you left. Surely weeks, maybe months. You are dully aware of the damage to your legs, your right arm. You've been reserving energy as much as possible, but your body has still needed to shut down many of its systems to protect you. You've spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of which you were once a person. Time passes. The cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. 1 second. Your joints release from their rigor. Sound, too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its senses. Hi, Graham. Then light, white as the cold, softer and softer until in a haze of dirty yellow a figure appears. You are out. Dragos, pragmatic salvager. Ooh. A pragmatic and private salvager. It has been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in a corner of his scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You are slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. You are surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice. So, Sleeper, are you thawed yet? Almost. Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have better perseverance in sub-zero vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid into hull plates or inside out of locks in my time. They weren't so lucky. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech, his headset with its glinting eyes the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of the symbiotically linked drones perches, its irising eye locking you with an unflinching stare. Didn't snap a pic fast enough? What were you trying to snap a pic of? Also, hi, Sammy. Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long. You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in memory for a moment. Or perhaps he is just figuring out what to do with you. What happened to them? He ignores your question. I won't ask what led you to do it. To sell yourself to a corporation, and I suppose you know you can't go back. The old body, that's theirs now, and you're just software. A rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate property. You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor on your feet as you padded to the sleeper cells, the promise of a life off-world. But as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person. You are an offshoot, a copy. The face my model was stuck on there for a moment while I was doing something was very silly. Oh, yeah. My model freaks out if I turn my head too far, if I stand up, if I take a drink. I wish it was a little bit better at detecting stuff like that and wouldn't just freak the fuck out. What you don't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. Excuse me. As an op wants to protect their property, but if they can't keep hold of you, well then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from the other sleepers. Planned obsolescence. A built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them and your body begins to shut down. Separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? Well, for now, Sleeper, you are one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away, towards the glassy dome of the yard. The eye is the best place for you, is the best place you could be right now. The eye? The station. You'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with. He trails off. There's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. We haven't been pulling in much valuable scrap these days, so you're welcome to it. Something wells up inside you. Emotion, fatigue. You shakily get to your feet. Alright, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, Dragos stalks back into the wrecks, his drones already converging on a rusting hulk. Plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Welcome to Erlin's Eye. Life on the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty container location to rest and end this cycle now. Select locations by clicking on their icon. Okay. Empty container, you're home for now. End the cycle. You wake curled up in the corner of the container and begin slowly assembling the world around you. Container, 4 steel walls. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. Its message is readable, but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are, on this ruined station, millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? Escape, getting answers, building a life. Building a life. Maybe you did get lucky, finding yourself here. Maybe here, on the edge of everything, there's a life for you to build. But before you can build anything, you'll need to learn to survive. Calling it now the big bad is yourself? I don't think so. Maybe, but I don't think so. Maybe if you can do that, you can make a life for yourself. I don't think this game has a big bad. This is a man against nature in the most sci-fi way possible. As in the original? I don't think we're a fork of the person who created the company or anything like that. I mean, it's a fair theory, I don't think that's what's going on. We'll see. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container. The mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud on the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachets smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them in the liquid. As the pungent smell washes over you, images from your restless sleep come back to you. A ring, like the station, but skeletal and ghostly. A web of threads pulling at your skin. A constellation of bright polygonal shapes, like angular suns burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it is long after you've finished drinking before they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best you can and gather enough energy to greet the day. Okay. Tutorial. Condition, action dice, and energy. Condition. That's this bar. Your condition represents the current state of your artificial body. It depletes by one segment every cycle, but can also be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you will suffer a breakdown. You'll have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that were keeping you alive. Action dice. At the start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. The number of dice rolled is based on your current condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have access to. I imagine it probably roughly lines up, so we need to get this bar over to here to get our last dice probably. Once you've used your dice, you can not take any further actions and must rest to recover them, ending the current cycle. Energy. This white bar across the bottom. You also need to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can refill your energy bar by eating, but first you'll have to find somewhere to get food. Your energy depletes by 2 segments each cycle. Okay? If it becomes empty, you will be starving. When starving, energy loss becomes condition loss, and your condition will also deplete at double rate per cycle. Okay? So very important that we eat food. Cryo. Cryptocurrency, stored in air-walled sticks of memory known as chits. Classic. I've always loved this. So many sci-fis do this. We have cryptocurrency, but we keep it on little flash drives. Okay, we've got 2 6s, a 3, and a 2. I don't know if that's seeded for your first, day, but... Dragos is standing in the corridor when you close up the container. He's still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor, you realize it is implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder. Its cache of sensor eyes rapidly irising. How are you feeling? Not good. The drone chirps. Dragos nods. You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. I know the container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe. He pauses. So, I'm not going to chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? Work? Look, I'll be honest with you, Sleeper. I didn't pull you out of the container out of the goodness of my heart. He looks away. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old hulls down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally we'll pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of what comes in is scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure as a sleeper, you'll be used to the manual labor. And obviously I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you turn up. Got it. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited moving on as quick as you can, and sleepers, well, he trails off. But things here being the way they are for me in the yard, I need the help. Why? Oh, things are a little tight, that's all. I owe a little cryo to a client here or there. He pauses, thinking of something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you're feeling fresher. There's plenty to do. Will do. He nods distractedly and turns and walks away, the drone hopping along ahead of him. See you later, he calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. Okay. Well, Dragos' yard is the only other location we have. Decaying scrapyard. Actions. Actions are the primary way you interact with the world of Citizen Sleeper. To perform an action, click and drag your chosen action die to a slot. Actions reward you with clock progress, energy, condition, or items, depending on their outcome. There are 3 types of outcome. Positive in greeny yellow, the action goes better than expected. Neutral, the action succeeds. And negative, the action fails. Action dice affect these outcomes as follows. A 6-sider is 100% positive. A 5-sider is a 50% chance of positive and 50% chance of neutral. A 3 or a 4 is a 25% chance of a positive, a 50% chance of a neutral, and a 25% chance of a negative. And a 1 or a 2 is a 50-50 neutral or negative. Actions display information about their type, risk level, and the skill and modifiers that apply to that action. Type, either critical or repeatable. Critical actions can only be performed once. Risk, either safe, risky, or danger. Safe, no loss of condition, energy, or cryo. Risky, a negative outcome means you lose cryo or energy. Danger, a negative outcome means you lose condition, and a neutral outcome can mean cryo or energy loss. Skill, the skill that action requires, either engineer, interface, endure, intuit, or engage. Basically, so we can get our modifier, which our modifier is either -1, 0, +1, or +2. Okay, so we will be leveling up at some point. This is added to the action dice when slotted and improves the value. Some actions require a +1 to perform, so you need like a basic competency, basically. Okay, so our current options. Hull dissection. Even the rustiest hull can hide valuable components and materials. Extracting them means cutting carefully and skillfully. This is a risky, repeatable action. Manual salvage. It's going to take some time to sort and cut your way through the towers of salvage, but you are no stranger to hard labor. This is a safe action with the endurance trait. Cycle clock. A debt called in, Dragos is tied up in something ugly, and if he misses a payment or two, it could get nasty. Back in business, every salvager knows that they are always just one lucky haul away from their next payday. So these are just like, this is where it's happening, and these are like what we're working on. So I believe our idea is we want to charge up this money clock before the debt is due clock fills up. Okay. So let's start with using our perfect die to dissect. Actions often progress clocks. Clocks are displayed below the actions that fill them, and they track your actions and how they affect the world. Filling a clock means something good or bad, is about to happen. Some clocks, such as the one tracking Dragos' debt, are cycle clocks. These clocks tick themselves once each cycle and can complete without player input. Any active cycle clocks will be displayed on the icon for that location. You suggested the thing that makes us bad at the safe one, LMAO. I think that's fine, because we can just put our bad actions into there to just coin flip them, and we can put our good actions into the other one. I think it's better to be bad at safe actions and good at risky actions. Okay, positive outcome. We got 2 points for back in business, and we got 15 money. Let's do that again. I like it's 100% positive, but it feels like I said 100% piece of shit. Drives navigation. In Citizen Sleeper, you will unlock drives as you discover more about yourself and the world. Drives guide you in pursuing specific objectives depending on which path you wish to take. You can track drives, and any track to drive will place a yellow marker on locations that will help you pursue the goal. Access your drive menu via the arrow button at the top left of the screen. Okay, so it's kind of like a quest menu. Continue. You're now free to explore Erlen's Eye and make a life for yourself here. Try tracking a drive to help you survive. Look for food to keep your energy up and a way to recover condition. Fill clocks to progress stories, and find new opportunities. Remember to end cycle at your home when you are out of dice. Alright, 2 more back in business, 15 more money. 1 lucky haul away. Yeah, I feel like this probably is to cancel out that. But let's... We've got shitty dice left. Let's look at our options. Dragos pulled you out of salvage and has set you up. Perhaps you could repay his kindness. Help pay off Dragos' debt. You need to access to corporate pharmaceuticals. Otherwise, this escape attempt will come to a rapid end. Find a doctor. Okay. So now let's leave. Dock C4, Rotunda Wetlock. Let's go look at this. Hellions Crossing. Merchants willing to run the gauntlet of the Hellion system are rare, but those that do always return eventually. This will advance automatically. Okay. So, okay. I've been given permission to look around, but I can't do anything else. This is just a clock that's going to advance eventually. Okay. So yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll manually salvage with our other dice. 50% neutral, 50% negative. What happens if I put it here? Yeah, I don't want to risk the negatives this early in the game. So let's do manual salvage. 5 cryo from a negative outcome. You ache from hammering away at the scrap, and most of it crumbles into worthless rust. You call it a day early before you injure yourself. Okay. And then let's put this one in. Flip the coin. Back in business, 1 ping and 10 cryo. Salvaging is brutal work, but you take no small sense of satisfaction from the ordered piles and clear yard you leave behind. Okay. And I have money. But I can't spend it on anything currently. Yeah, this is just a clock. So I think we have to go to sleep, and then probably something will happen when we wake up. Oh, I'm starving. Cool. This time you don't wake up. Instead, the ghost of the station, that shifting skeletal ring, surrounds you. For a moment you are gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across the colorless void. Then the connections begin to establish themselves, threads tugging on the edge of your mind. These threads become vectors of exchange and then extensions, as you feel your thoughts slipping away down them, dissolving into millions of distributed nodes they connect to. You see the station. No, you feel the station, like a web of texture in a smooth black liquid. Observe it or touch it. Observe. Even though you have no eyes, no sight, you feel the map of the station. No, not the map of the station, but the map of the connections. It is a looped cloud with spokes and spires that jut out into space. It is an ingrown thing full of obsolete loops and severed pathways. It is a system, a map, and a territory all at once. You notice a tugging feeling pulling at you. Insistently, as if you were a small child. Somehow it is pulling you in 2 directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden, everything shuts off. You come back, trembling, into this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours all at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes now open to the dark steel walls. You feel a change within you, a shift. You close your eyes for a second, and you feel it waiting there. The station splayed out across your mind. A storm of connective nodes waiting to be explored. And then it's gone. Okay, I rolled 3 6s, so that's pretty good, right? That's good. I can view my character here. Oh! Various upgrades. Okay, I'm not going to look at those until we get our first upgrade point. Yeah, that's just on the cycle clock. The map is more detailed now, you think? Cool. Maybe... Am I missing something? Is there another level of going back I can do? Because I'm starving. I can't move around on the ship any more than this. There's not something else at home. Yeah, no. I guess maybe my goal is just to work for Dragos, and then maybe he'll be like, hey, you want to buy some food? Can I move the map at all? I don't think so. Oh, there we go. Okay, scroll wheel. Okay. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on. Okay. I wish they had said use the scroll wheel to move around the map. That I would have assumed click and drag. My only complaint in this game so far is that there's no options menu. Because an options menu... because an options menu would show me the controls, and it would allow me to adjust the volume natively. Why would clicking you do anything? Because it's funny. Does escape not bring anything up? Okay, it does now. There was nothing on the main menu. Okay. Text side. Okay, we can turn down the music now. Let's do that, and then let's go back over here, and I don't have to have it quieted in the settings. Still no controls, though. Oh, sorry, guys. Thank you, babe. Not terrible by any means, just like something that would have been nice. Okay. Well, now that I know I can scroll, I can see all these other locations. I probably didn't need to go to bed without food the first day. Okay, let's look at our options. Shipyard. In the shipyard, we can assist a shipbuilder. You don't have connections, but you do have skills. If you can get a shipbuilder to notice them, you might be in. We can haul materials. As a newcomer, you can only gain favor by grabbing a load of materials and asking the nearest yard hand to take them. Yard hand. The only way to get to know the shipyard is to work there. No tourists. Okay. So that's just another place to work. Rotunda. Old dock terminal. Steel dock plans. Critical action that requires engage. Havenage? Security has to have plans. Stealing them would be the fastest way to get to know this place, and the most dangerous. Explore the rotunda. The rotunda of the old docks is filled with passageways and concourse, leading to all sorts of docking bays. A risky intuit, a dangerous engage. Can lead to dock watcher. Getting to know rotunda doesn't just mean new places to visit. It means keeping your eye on new arrivals too. Hey, no, I've been tackled. Hey, Derek, welcome in. How you doing? I've been tackled. Probably supposed to be Haven Age, maybe? Haven Age runs the rotunda, and their security watches the docks. Better to avoid attracting their attention. So if I get too many bads, this will fill up. But if I get enough goods, I'll get more information. I've been skunkled. Oh, no. Alright. Food, please? Dock B2. Salvage sortie. Takes several cycles to reach the starboard belt and return. Loaded with scrap from old wrecks. Okay, so I can't do that yet. Bright market. Bustling open market. You're doing the skunk acrobatics around the room. Just being a goob. Have a good stream. Alright, have fun being a goob. I could use some of that energy. Send it to me, Spirit Bomb style. Alright. The market. Ask for directions. A dangerous engagement. Why wander When there are hundreds of people that live and work in Bright Market, all you need is the courage to approach them or into it. Explore the market. The smells, the sounds, the bustling activity of Bright Market makes it a dizzying place to wander, but an enticing one too. 3 pings for local knowledge. The Bright Market is the busiest part of the eye's lower rim. You can find anything and everything here, presumably including a doctor and food. And over here we have the low end gate, passage into the low end. Pay the low end toll. After some spacers caused some trouble in the low end, yet again has imposed a toll for entry. No one gets in without paying. 60 cryo. You wish? Alright. We've got 3 6s. Let's ask for directions. We're guaranteed a positive response. +3 local knowledge. You end up at a drink stall debating the finer points of the Solheim collapse. Try to remember all the tips your companions offer you. Okay. Does this trigger now? Does this do something? Yeah, there we go. New drive discovered. Build a ship mind. You've heard talk of a fabricator owned by the Ort Exchange. With that and a few fragments, you could build a ship mind core. Gain access to the Ort Fabricator. I don't know what that is, but okay. I'm going to hit escape, and I think turn down to 1. Yeah, that sounds about right. Emphis, street food vendor, and Sabine, slum doctor. Well, let's do food first. Emphis is busy, his broad face uplit by the makeshift gas burner in front of him. With precise, delicate movements, he lays thick chunks of marinated fungus into a dented wok, his other hand idly tossing a metal bowl of sliced vegetables in some red-flecked dressing. The smell is incredible. You watch as he fulfills a set of orders, heaping the fungus with the bright salad and depositing it into plastic trays. A stack of chits rattles in his apron pocket as customers file past the burner, handing over payment. Interesting they talk about ship mines in that book your mother sent too. Wonder if that was inspired by that. Possibly. Approach. You join the queue. It's mostly made of off-duty salvagers, vac suits unzipped and rolled down to expose stained vests, grubby mods, a lattice of scars and tattoos, and boobs maybe? Teehee. They discuss the best foods on the eye, the best drink, comparing notes on Bright Market dives, their words cut through with heavy spacer slang. Eventually it's your turn, and you shuffle to the front. Emphis speaks in a deep, even tone without looking up. First draw is free. Thank him. The smell's almost unbearably strong as he cooks, the earthiness of the fungus laced with something so spicy the smoke makes your eyes water. The heat from the burner is like a bonfire, and your skin hardens in its glare. I know you sleepers, Emphis says while he cooks, his voice deep but clear. Oh good, I'm glad that I guessed correctly. A hard life, a lot of stories. He glances up from beneath his cap with piercing eyes. I know. You begin to tell him about your journey to the eye, and he nods as he cooks, his eyes never leaving his work. You tell him of the confusion, the pain, but also the sense of possibility and its sudden arrival. You tell him of the cold and the dark of the container and the endless cycles spent within it. And now it seems you tell him like some dream that you once had but can never forget. They was playing the perfect game for her, ever sleepy? It's so true. I'm so eepy. All the time eepy. Never ever not eepy. You tell him that the eye excites you and scares you, and you are unsure where to walk, where to look, what to do. Eventually you tail off, running out of words. He places a plastic tray of steaming fungus in your hand. Next time we can talk some more, he smiles. But next time, you pay. He slams a heavy hand against a button on the burner side and it shuts off. The roar of the flame and the impressive heat fades. Next time then, sleeper. He waves you away and begins to oil the wok. Before you turn back to the alley, you notice the geometric patterns of circular scars across his forearms, each surrounded with a constellation of glinting pin marks. You walk away, and as you do, you take a bite of the rich, spicy, delicately sweet fungus. Your taste sensors light up like a fusion reactor. You'll be back. Hooray, I aided a food. New drive, eat more food. Get to know Emphis. Emphis loves two things, stories and food. Maybe if you supply him with both, you can hear his story. Alright, well, let's go to the doctor. Next comes the call from the enforcer at the door. Hab block. Decaying habitation block. Oh, okay. You shuffle down the flickering hallway towards the open apartment door. You keep your head down and your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You were thankful for the tip-off that a doctor was operating out of this place, but now that you're here, you aren't so sure. The gang enforcer at the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying hab block, they have all made... Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. You fungus? Mushrooms tasty. The gang enforcer on the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying hab block. They have all made the long queue a test of your nerve. But your options are few, and without a supply of stabilizers, your body, will... You suppress a shiver and shuffle forward to the front of the queue. You try to find something to distract yourself. Look inside or look at the enforcer. Look inside. You lean against the doorframe and look into the apartment. The entryway is dark, punctuated by green indicators of stacks of sealed containers. You lean in and see amber light filtering through a doorway, screened with plastic sheeting, beyond which blurred shapes move. The slap of the enforcer's palm against the doorway jerks you awake. Wait your turn, he growls. Mushroom's evil. Wow, you're just like Emmy. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway, and you catch a distant voice. Send the next one in, Toshiro. The enforcer jerks his head, and you slip inside, passing through the dark entryway and pushing through the plastic sheeting on the far door. The room beyond is bathed in warm light. A floor-to-ceiling transparent panel gives a full view of the bright market's sealed roof and the buzzing traffic above, and for a moment you are transfixed by the motion. Aw, hell yeah. Look at that plastic poncho. Sabine. Emmy's a smart puppy, she is. Sharp voice. Come in, calls the sharp voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turned away, replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed. You make your way across the room. The figure turns, and as they do, you see an expression of confusion flash across their features. They open their mouth as if to speak, they blink, and they quickly regain their composure. Please, sit. They gesture to the bed, then turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit. Sabine turns, a compact diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. Remain still, please. Their tone is clipped and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from their expression when you first entered. Fear, recognition, sadness, unmistakably etched across their face. Non-binary. Yeah. They're cute. How long have you been at the station? They ask, a scanner still to their eye. A few cycles. They nod. It's good you came to me. They set the diagnostic scanner on the table. I'm going to start by assuming you don't know anything. You're so right for that. Hey, Bard, welcome in. How you doing, bud? Hope you're doing well. They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. Your body is dying. They say it without ceremony, without drama, but not without empathy. SNOP doesn't like to see its proprietary technology let loose. To prevent bodies like yours, frames as they call them, from being stolen, repurposed, or in your case, escaping, they built it in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Frames decay rapidly when not regularly injected with stabilizer, one which SNOP remains the sole producer of. They look up. Sounds familiar? Yes. Good. That may help. They swap to another arm, running some thin metal device over your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. I'm sorry, Sabine says, and you are unsure if they mean for the cold touch of the metal or everything else. Less than ideal, but just being awake will temper that. Once this IBU takes hold, you'll be better? Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that. Emulations like you, sleepers as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no rights, no status. They focus hard on the inspection of your arm, and SN-ARP has no reason to release stabilizer into the market. Sabine looks up, as if to apologize again, but they stop themselves. I know little of this is of use to you. They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room as Sabine works, and then the silence gives way to tension. You stare at their back, willing them to say something. Anything. Sabine turns to face you. I may be able to help. They sigh. Then you see the darkness under their eyes, hear the fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. You saw Toshiro outside? You nod. He works for my benefactor. Yet again. They are influential in low end. They give me this space to work, run the door, and take the profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, tend to their implants, and sew up their wounds. They look away. But Yadigan has connections. Smugglers from the Starward Belt. Mercenaries working for the corporations on Ember. If they can source the stabilizer, maybe you'll have a better chance. Sabine sets down their slate, their notes complete. This is dangerous, and it'll be expensive, but I think we can do it. Oh, thank you. Sabine walks away to the window, their face dappled by the shadows of passing drones. Let's just see if this works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead. You nod and leave. Sabine's still staring out, unmoving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you look back up through the panels of the roof to see if you can see their face, where the room looks dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and walk off into the crowd. Okay. Sourcing stabilizer. Sabine thinks they can source some stabilizer through yet again, but it's going to take a few cycles. Oh, and we got an incoming ad break. You forgot how dystopian this game was? Oh, hell yeah. Alright, well. Ort exchange. This is what we'll look at next. But for now, we're going to take a little 3-minute break for the advertisements. So I'll see you guys in a few. And we're back. Thank you for waiting around. You enjoyed the playthrough you did a while back. You don't remember much, but you're not sure you can do something this reading heavy again. But luckily, I'm doing it for you now. I mean, for all of us? Yeah, for all of you. I'm doing this on all of yours behalf. So, we can play the stock market to get more money. We can sell components here if we have junk. And if we get 6 pings here, we become a trusted trader. There's an old ship mine fabrication stack in the back of the market, but only trusted traders get access to it. Well, that's the ship mine that we want. I'm tempted to use my 6s here, but it might be better for me to move back here and make sure that I finish helping Dragos, which I think is what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to use these 6s to stabilize the hull, or to dissect the hull, not stabilize. There we go. Back in business, 2 pings at 15 cryo, and boop. Bam. We got 75 cryo, and we are back in business. You arrive into a buzz of activity at the yard. Red blinking lights flash across the vast dark shape suspended down below the dome. They flicker across the scorched hull plates and bent structures, spilling from holes in the twisted shape. The cutter... Excuse me. Oh, goodness. The cutter is huge and has been torn apart in some violent encounter. She's a beauty, isn't she? Drago stands to the side, focusing on the hulking ship as it is lowered into the yard. What is it? Dragos laughs. That, my friend, is A-grade scrap. I should thank you. This place was on its last legs when you turned up, and now look at this. The ship descends slowly, its interior visible through multiple hull breaches. You struggle to gather the same enthusiasm as Dragos for this monstrous craft. You can't help but think of what happened to her crew. What happened? What do you mean? He glances at you. I managed to convince our salvager friends to give it to me on credit. That's what happened. No, what happened to the ship? Not my concern, he shrugs. The ship creaks like a calving iceberg as it reaches the base of the yard. Dragos is visibly excited. I know I said you shouldn't stick around, but I'm going to need some help with this one. The drones start to crawl over the hulk, the lights illuminating flashes of their lights illuminating flashes of dented hull. I promise I can read. Watching, you wonder if you arrived in a similar fashion. Locked inside that container, the wreck of the S&R freighter lowered into the yard like a corpse ready to be butchered. Or was the container delivered to Dragos on its own, a womb for your rebirth into this strange station? You shudder. Perhaps... come on, Niv. Perhaps if you could learn something about their ship, you might be able to trace the path that led you to this yard. Dragos squeezes your shoulder. After these past cycles, I think we are up to it. What do you think? You see the fading name of the ship emblazoned on the side. Winter Light. Let's do it. He claps you on the back. Glad to hear it. Come back in a few and we can make a start. Real beauty, Dragos repeats, perhaps just to himself. You take one last look at the shattered ship as the drones start cutting, and then slip out of the yard, feeling suddenly cold in the empty passage. Drive complete. 1 upgrade point. New drive... Oh. Paid off your debt. You've completed your first drive. Each drive completed unlocks an upgrade point to spend on upgrading your character. Access your character menu via the arrow button at the top right of the screen. Okay, so time to make choices. Ice calving, the process by which an iceberg breaks off from an ice shelf or glacier. Ah, cool. 1 upgrade point, 2 upgrade points, 3 points. Okay. So... Okay. So for 1 point, I can get... okay, I see. This is the perk that the game started me with. The chance to gain cryo on interfacing. So it's 1 point to get to being a 0 at something, to get a perk, and then to get a +1. Then for 2 upgrade points, I can get another perk, and then for 3 upgrade points, I can get up to a +2. So let's look at our options. If I want to hold on to my points, I could eventually get Icebreaker. That would allow agent nodes to give double data rewards. That seems like something in the future. So for now, I could get Efficient Extractor to get random scrap from engineer actions. That seems like it might be relevant since we're about to start dissecting a ship. We could remove our endurance penalty. We could get predictive reasoning. Dice actions display potential positive and negative outcomes. That would allow us to know the benefits of doing certain actions, which could be pretty useful, especially on our first run, to have an idea of what we need to do. And then engage. We could get energy after any engage action. So that's also kind of useful as a way to refresh our energy, but it kind of locks us into needing to do engage actions, which is pretty rough. Let's look at our higher skill things too. If we go into engineering, we'd eventually be able to use scrap components at home to repair our condition. Endurance, which I don't think is our path, we'd get the dice action to get energy recovery. And then eventually we'd get keep 2 dice even when condition is breaking. So if we are in a really rough situation, we'd still be able to use a couple dice. Intuit would eventually give us instant karma. Reroll all of your dice once per day. That seems pretty good. And engage would eventually give us all cryo actions are discounted. Yeah, I think we're going to push to go up the Intuit tree. That seems the most useful to me, especially on a first playthrough. So, predictive reasoning. Okay. Build a ship mind. Get to know Emphis. Study at the Winter Light. And survive. Well, we can untrack survive because we just need to wait. Maybe turn on study the Winter Light. Womp. Okay, interesting. So, I mean, we're not going to be able to do it today, but forensic trawling uses Intuit and will be investigating the Winter Light means picking through the systems and structure with care. It won't pay, but you'll find answers. We'll up 1 yard clearance and 2 Winterlight whenever we succeed at that. Winterlight, the wrecked cutter Dragos has brought from salvage, has a history to discover if you're curious. Dragos' nerve is going to start ticking. Dragos seems increasingly nervous about your presence in the yard. You're not sure he's going to hold his nerve much longer. And then over here, we can up yard clearance faster and get money by doing cutter salvage, which is dangerous. Shipbreaking is tougher than slicing up loose salvage, but Dragos is happy to pay you for a fixed wage if you're up to it. Yard clearance. History or no, the ship is salvage. As Dragos always says, break it down, move it on. Okay, so we have these 3 clocks to concern ourselves with. And we are out of energy, I think. So let's go back here real quick. I want to check one more thing. Can I have a second meal? Yes. Emphasis spiced fungus is one of the few things potent enough to stimulate your limited taste sensors. It's incredible stuff. Emphasis doesn't trust people easily, but he notices his regulars in his own quiet way. Not going to be able to do it today. What do you mean, Miv? You said you were going to continue streaming until you beat the game, don't you remember? No, I don't have time for that. I will put 15 money in here. and I will eat. I believe this, yeah, since it doesn't take a dice, I can do it as much as I want. So that will top up my food bar and give me 1 ping on Fungus Fan. Okay. And I could pay the 60 to get through the low-end gate, but I think maybe I shouldn't do that yet. I'll wait. Yeah. Okay, I think that's everything I can do today. Let's go sleep in our container. Fungus, tasty. Which does mean I need to keep about 15 money a day. Oh boy. Again, the skeletal ring of the station fills your mind. It sparkles with glittering lights, like stars reflected in a winter lake. It is clearer, crisper than before. The threads still pull, but you remain in place, flickering in the flow. Between the threads, you see bright shapes, caches of shimmering light beneath the transparent crystal forms. You follow the path of thread across the ring, through these forms, and leap off into the void. You begin to understand. These are nodes and connections, a map of information, of communication. There's so many layers, so many loops that it seems almost impossible to parse. But you begin to try. Focus on the nodes. The nodes are glassy, bright, but in all this flow, the only solid and fixed points. You approach one, a pyramid or a triangle. Dimensions are difficult here. And lean close to it. Inside, shifting layers conceal a tangle of threads, a meeting point of exchange. But before you can glimpse any further, the glass clouds and hardens, cutting you off. The threads and nodes, passages and puzzle boxes. One leads to another. There is so much here, so many answers, so many questions. All you need to do is follow the path and open the boxes. You look out across the ghost landscape of exchange and see an opportunity. But then, that insistent tugging again, pulling at you. You look down and see 2 lines, 2 threads pulling in different directions, as if they were tied around you. Let's start with the second. Why not? The second thread leads in, pulling deep into the station. Your gaze follows it, and this time you see something. A sphere shimmering above a strange angular body. A pulse shoots out from it, passing over you like a torch beam, testing you, tasting you. And the first thread leads out, away from the station, into the inky black. Someone out there is tracking you, hunting you, following the thread to you. They're in a ship, and the ship is approaching ever closer with each cycle. You open your eyes. Time is short. Alright, 2 5s and a 3. Hunted. Someone out there is tracking you, following your trail. Won't be long before they arrive. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8 cycle clock. Tutorial, the cloud. Something has changed inside you. You can now access the data cloud of the eye, a network of decaying protocols and data caches. While you can use dice and items to you can use dice and items to access systems and extract data. But be careful, these networks are old and strange. Click the I button at the top of the screen to toggle this view on and off. Keynode, Havenage Agent, Havenage Gate H4, Keynode 102, Solheim Gate, Keynode, Yadigan Agent, interesting. Tutorial data actions. Data actions allow you to extract data from networks of the eye. They work like dice actions, but in order to unlock them, you must match your dice to one displayed on the right action. Okay. If you have a +1 or +2 modifier in the interface skill, you will be given more possible dice to match. You can use any dice that matches the dice displayed. Once unlocked, the data can be extracted. So I would need a 1 or a 3 for this because I'm good at interfacing. Hacker Miv, yeah! Some gang enforcers and plants are chirping out comm signals. Tempted to see what they're talking about. So this is a good way to use bad dice, is what I'm gathering. Thank you for the care package, Mischief. I literally just took a drink, but I'll go ahead and do a stretch. Thank you for the care package. Making skunk self-share. Big stretch. Every time I do a big stretch. You know that's the rules. Okay. So that's good to know. Solheim Gate. This gate conceals a network of systems which have been untouched since the Solheim collapse. Takes a data package or something.
Who's a good girl? You are. Yes, you are.
Alright, the key nodes. This node is orbited by the remains of a corporate countermeasure broken long ago by hackers. Okay. This node pulses faintly as it mines cryo at a glacial pace, abandoned by the hacker that repurposed it. So that probably gets me some money. A Haven Age member is broadcasting on the open network here, leaving them open to data extraction. Okay. So it could give me a data point. The data here is part of a cache tucked away during the collapse. Who hid this here and for what purpose? Another Haven Age agent. Slot Haven Age cipher. This gate keeps traffic out of the Haven Age shipyard's internal network. The correct cipher can grant you access. Interesting. Okay. So I might come back here and use my 3. Possibly on that Yadigan. But for now, I'm going to... Let's see. We could focus on helping Dragos with this. Oopsie. Doc, I imagine this is still just pinging up. Yep. The Rotunda for getting more information. I see. I would want a 6 here, basically. A 6 here would give me automatic success with no risk of getting hurt. Okay. This dock has nothing, but something's coming in a couple of days. I can play the market. I'm waiting for this to ping forward. I can pay to get into low end, but I don't know if that would help me in any way. Oh, thank you for the head pats, Mischief. Did they not go off? That's odd. It did a bit ago? Oh, I just didn't hear it for some reason. Okay. So I think at the moment I'm going to use my 5s here. Neutral outcome. Just 1 ping on Winterlight. Ugh. Perk predicted. Oh, that, okay, that's just saying it. It's a little hard to see the screen because of the glare. Please don't worry about us. Please don't worry you about my memory. My memory is as. 2 neutral outcomes. Not great. Okay, and then, yeah, I think I will use that 3 on this Yadigan agent. Yeah. Some gang enforcer implants are chirping about outcom signals. Time to see what they're talking about. I got 5 money. Oh, that's my perk. I get 5 money every time I do something here. Neutral outcome. Yet again, data. I assume that these are always going to be neutral because we're just matching. Unlocked. Data extracted. Okay. So I have a yet again data that I can use at some point. Alright, and that's it for the day, I think. Let's buy another food. Miv can only remember the butts she's seen with that ass memory of hers. I'm not even a butt girl. I like boobs. Alright. Well, eepy beepy time. This citizen do be sleeping. Alright, I have a 6 today. That's pretty good. As you close up, a voice echoes down the corridor towards you. Sleeper, wait up! Turn. Fang, a Have-an-Age systems engineer. Fang, and that voice, I think, works. Fang is coming down the corridor towards you, a wonky grin on his face. Hey, glad I caught you. Do I know you? He grins. You do now. He puts a hand on your arm. I've seen you hanging around. Just wanted to chat. You staying in that thing? He nods back to the container, shaking his head. Rough. It can be hard to get a start on the eye. He looks away down the passage. What was it old Erlen said? The eye opens for us all? Nice idea, but, well, not always very practical. Glances back at you. We do our best, but it isn't easy. Erlen? You pass together into the main walkway. No one's told you about Erlen? He's the founder of this place. That's why it bears his name. Have-an-Age should organize some seminars. He laughs. Not really my department, though. I'm with systems. Systems. Blessed to love boobs, cursed to remember ass. Yeah, that's it. Everything the eye runs on. He runs a hand along the passage wall. This place is a ruin, but systems keep it spinning somehow. At least we try to. He stops you in the quiet passage. Look, that's not what I'm here to discuss. I saw you around and, well, I know little about you sleepers. I have a little proposition for you. Glances around, but this isn't the place for it. I have an office just across the way. Give me a cycle or two to prepare, then when you're settled, stop by. He lowers his voice and gives you a dark look. In truth, I need you. If what they say is true about you sleepers, well, there's work to be done. He pats you on the back, his voice bright and his dark look suddenly gone. Stay clean, sleeper! He walks off down the passage, raising a hand in farewell. Okay, goodbye. Let's see. Oh, we're being raided! Raid! Thank you for shouting out, Darkness Dragoon Emmy. Hello, Raiders. My name is Mivlia. I am the trans punk skunk extraordinaire. I'm a variety streamer. I stream whatever I want, whenever I want. And right now we are doing Citizen Sleeper, which is a dice rolly, plot-heavy RPG. I'm very excited to be playing. We channel the spirit of the punkest of skunks. That's me. Thank you for channeling my spirit, and thank you for the raid. If you guys got to be done watching streams for the day or need to pop off to make some food or do anything else, do whatever you got to do. But thank you so much for the raid, Dragoon. How is Phoenix Wright? What case were you working on? All right. So definitely need to think about what we want to do with this 6 and what we want to do with these shitty lower dice. Nothing new has opened up here, right? Correct. Okay, so we're going to, I think I want to use the 6 to continue the forensic trawl. Bam. We got some scrap out of it, too. Cool. Filters, capacitors, sensors, useful salvage to the right person. We didn't get a yard clearance, though. Interesting. I guess this is like a potential payoff. We're on episode 2 of the second game with Franziska von Karma. Ah, so you're a foolish fool who foolishly goes up against Franziska von Karma. Fantastic. He was Phoenix wronged by the state of the Japanese court system, so true. Okay, well, I mean, scrap is good, right? Even if we didn't get any yard clearance pings, we've got a decent amount of money. I don't think I want to risk a 3 on the forensics. What's my 25%? Yeah, no. I mean, there's a chance of a positive result, but I think I would rather use that to keep data hacking at the moment. Assuming I can find some good stuff to hack. No, that needs a data cluster or whatever. This one needs a 2 or a 3. This one needs a 1 or a 3. This one needs a 2 or a 3. Might get me that Haven Age data Bob. Let's do that. Well, actually, let's look at our options all the way. The gate needs the appropriate data. This node requires a 3 or a 2. And that's the agent that I hacked earlier. The new Von Karma is very whip happy, and you're wondering why she has not been hauled off for striking the judge, Detective Gumshoe, and Phoenix himself with her whip. Yeah. No, they seem perfectly content to just let her smack whoever she wants. You'll get used to prosecutors with weapons. It gets far worse than her. Easy. Hunting for some sweets for evening hunts? Sweets. Let me know what sweets you find. And always good to see you, of course. I think what I'm going to do... A whip hurts like a bitch? It sure do. I'm going to go for this agent with my 2. Bypass. 5 cryo. And... some Haven Age data. Okay, which isn't the kind of data I need in the middle. Oh, am I back? My audio popped so bad that the microphone didn't want to pick it up. What's next? Them waving an actual gun around? As you drift back from the node, something latches onto you. A thread strung tight around you. It tethers you in place. A taste. The voice makes you shiver. Its source somehow both distant and close to your ear. You see a distant glint of light shut off, and then suddenly a shape is at your side. It stalks around you, circling like a shark, like a wolf. Entity unknown, astringent, processing. Stay still. Please hold. The thread around you thickens until it is a ring, a cylinder, a tunnel of light circled around you. It is blinding for a moment, and then it is gone. As it fades, you see a figure, a creature in front of you. Its strange head flickers between different angles, reading you. What did you do? The shape paces around you on lithe legs, though there is no ground here to pace on. Entity, identify, origin, serial, cadence. The figure faces you expectantly. Sleeper, SNARP. Unknown, known. The figure's strange head rotates. Brackish signature, of and not of, attempting interface. As the figure speaks, more threads begin to spiral from its head, thick, sneaking, vine-like ribbons that flex and wave. They approach with intent. Stop. The figure halts its threads, its head twitching. Entity, your identity is unknown. We only seek to correct illegalities. Can you confirm your legal right to sentience? I'm a person. Incorrect, you are an entity. All at once, the hunter's head is directly in front of yours, blocking your vision. You stink of their taste. The one from the sealed dock. Hunter shimmers with fury. I will find access. I will interface. Sealed dock. An entity hides in the rotunda. You are its puppet. The hunter extends a razor-edged thread. I will not be diverted from my task. It glows with murderous intent. Strike. You lash out with all your force. Not a physical strike, but a focusing, a spike of interference leaping out like the tip of a spear. Hunter stumbles, shifts, separates. Wake up. You open your eyes, blinking back into the station light, shaking with fear. No, but there's one with a sword. There is one with a sword. You will be pulling you over to mobile as you bring me along to find dinner. Have a good finding dinner. Let me know what you make. Alright, let's go to this gate and use this data. Womp. Oh, no? Interesting. The Haven Age data is not the correct data, I guess. Even though it's got the right symbol. It's not the same thing, I guess. Okay. Now I could use my 3, but I think maybe I should mostly do this with 1s and 2s. I think it might be worth it to pop out and try to use this 3 on a safe action. If I can. Which the forensic trawling is safe, so let's try doing that. Hey, we got a positive outcome. Nice. Interesting that it's not actually popping up yard clearance like it says it's supposed to. Oh well. But I will take... I got a ship mind fragment. Could be reassembled with the right tools and a few more fragments. I think there are a couple burger patties, so you'll work... we'll cook one of those most likely. Sounds good. Alright, that's all of our dice for the day, and I don't think I can do anything else. Oh, wait, no, I can. I can go... I can go to the Ord Exchange and sell my scrap. Scrap components, right? There we go. Give me some money. 12 cryo and +1 trusted trader. Nice. And then we can go and buy 1 food. I get 3 per eating? Oh, I thought I got 2 per eating. Well, that's fine. We'll just take it as we're paying a tax to get friends with Emphas faster. Maybe it's just that I lose 2 per day, but I gain 3 per eating. Oh well. And the cycle. Ooh, okay, that's some decent dice. No start of the day cutscene this time. But we do have the ability to go talk to Fang, I guess. Oh, what voice did I do for Fang 10 seconds ago? Sleeper! Fang catches your attention as you approach the Haven Age building, leaning against the bay door to the side of the entrance. You approach. Easier to come in this way. Security, all that. He gives you a look. You know. He slams a button and the bay creaks open, blinking lights in the dark behind it. You follow Fang inside. Truth be told, I don't spend much time upstairs. This is where I work. The door hisses as it closes behind you. The bay is filled with pieces of hardware, all rigged up to generators and diagnostic slates and things you don't recognize that glow with blue screen light. There's a chorus of hums that blends into a single wave of static, filling the dark corners of the room. Fang leans on a server stack and gestures around it. You like it? What's all this? He taps a nearby server stack, which bleeps in response. This
is my treasure trove, all dredged up from the sea of systems we call the Eye. You wouldn't believe what this place runs on.
Microsoft Vista. Why are there so many Dubai chocolate bars? It's because it's a big old fad nowadays. And they aren't, like, from what I understand, most of them aren't actually Dubai chocolate bars. They're just using the name and getting in on the fad. And almost all of them are overpriced for what it is. He steps over a towering block, speckled with vents.
Some of these systems are from the original station.
I forget what you call the hybrid A and E symbol. A1.
My favorite steak sauce.
Ain't touching the Feastables? Oh, absolutely not. I mean, even if Mr. Beast wasn't a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad person, the Feastables chocolate bars just suck ass, from what I understand. I did see Reese's... a little bit ago, they were doing like a Reese's peanut butter and jelly cup, which I thought was pretty good. I saw at the gas station yesterday that they've got a lava cake one, which I assume just means like there's goopy chocolate along with the hardened chocolate, and that sounds pretty good. I didn't get to try it, but it sounds good. You're not grabbing it because a friend of yours got sick from eating a Feastable? I mean, completely valid. Don't buy anything that Mr. Beast has ever worked on. The man does not know how to do anything. There was a whole box of those Feastables on clearance at the gas station. There were. I was a little disappointed to see that there was a Feastables Liquid Death. Kind of sucks because I've liked Liquid Death's owner so far, but I guess working with Mr. Beast isn't a complete death sentence yet. But it was for peanut butter, and I cannot or peanut butter cup, and I cannot imagine a peanut butter cup flavored water. That sounds gross.
We've had to invent new components, repair things we never built, reverse engineer entire subsystems into existence.
Might have a contract that they couldn't get out of without taking a loss. That's fair.
Residents here look up at the Eye and think they are seeing a constant, concrete reality. But this place is a system in constant flux, decaying and growing, collapsing into new configurations.
He walks down between the hardware stacks and you follow.
We're keeping this place alive, but also remaking it into something new, dragging it away from those corporate origins.
He stops.
At least that's what I'm trying to do.
He turns back to face you among the flickering machines humming all around you.
I know you can see this too, Sleeper. All these systems and sections. You can, can't you?
Yeah, I can see it.
Makes sense, right? You're between here and there, between the people and their systems. You light this place up like a beacon. That's what I need.
You glance at the lights around you, and as you do, they seem to flicker, to realign, to follow your gaze. Fang notices it too.
Guessing being a beacon isn't always ideal when you're on the run, though.
They are tracking me. He pats you on the shoulder.
Maybe I can help with that. There's a lot of old growth in this place. Systems I can't see, access protocols lost to time and decay. Secrets. Shitload of secrets.
Sour skulls look tempting. Bubblegum and strawberry lemon flavored. I'd go for the strawberry lemon. That sounds pretty good.
With your help, I can unlock this place. Break off those last ghost limbs of corporate control.
He lowers his voice below the hum.
Even in Haven Age, there's old growth. Those whose roots trace back into those bad old days. You help me dredge up the past, and I'll see what I can do about that tracker of yours.
He winks.
What do you say, Sleeper?
I'm in. Fang pumps his fist and claps you on the shoulder. He meets your eye.
You won't regret it, Sleeper.
Fang passes you a ragged-looking metal tab.
A gift!
He smiles.
It's a Solheim cipher. I dug it up from the depths of the station. Slot that into an old network gate, and you'll be able to put out all kinds of secrets from the nodes inside.
He walks... Excuse me. Oh, excuse me again. Something about Fang's voice, I guess. He walks you back to the front of the bay.
Start by bringing me whatever you can turn up. Use the emulated mine of yours and see what's out there. Let's get a picture of how things are. Those above, he nods at the ceiling, have granted me an acquisitions budget. I can pay you for whatever useful data you bring in. I know you need it. He slams the door button again. Keep it quiet and keep it clean, Sleeper, and I'll see you soon. You step blinking back out into the passage, those flickering lights still in the back of your mind. New quest, or new drive. Fang has said he will disable your SNR tracker if he can get to the bottom of the mystery first. Alright, well that seems prudent. At some point, I'm sure I'm going to reach a point where I'm going to have to make choices. Deliver data. Fang will pay you well for any Solheim data you dredge up from the Eye's old systems. What he does with it is anyone's guess. Scoping the systems. Fang wants to get a look at what data is hiding deep within the subsystems of the Eye. Okay. The scrap freighter is here now. Let's look at this. Repeatable actions. Buy some scrap. Most of what comes in from the starward belt is corroded trash, but sometimes something valuable can be found among the salvage. Scrap allowance. The big stuff goes to the scrapyard, the valuable stuff to the markets. They'll let you buy a few crates, but not much more. So that's kind of like a gamble, I guess. Offloading scrap. The freighter will stay docked for as many cycles as it takes to offload its haul of scrap onto the Havenage yards. Okay. Unload containers. The freighter crew are eager to get their payload into the Ord exchange, and they'll pay a wage to anyone willing to help them. But that's a dangerous endure action, so I'm probably not going to do it. They stuck together so you can't escape the bubblegum? I guess you'll just have to buy both. You have no choice. Okay, and the doctor's ready for me. Hey Sabine, what do you got? The first thing you see on entering is the glint of Toshiro's implants, like a cat's eyes in the dark of the corridor. He nods you in as you arrive at Sabine's door. The entryway is still dark, and you push through the sheeting into the surgery. Sour skulls and Oreo cakesters, grabbing Dr. Pepper since that's your favorite drink? Hell yeah. Docky Pepper. Gotta have that doc. Not had the Oreo cakes. Are they good? I must imagine they are. Okay, had my drink. I have it. Sabine stands with a case open in front of them. A set of vials lined up inside, separated by foam inserts. They pick one up, rotating it in the warm light. Very moist. The filling's very sweet. Nice. I'll have to try them sometime. I have no idea how yet again. They trail off. We should treat this with caution. It looks authentic, but I have no idea if it really is what it appears to be. I'm the test case? That seems to be the case. Unfortunately, I'm not sure we have another choice. They gesture for you to sit on the bed. The stabilizer works under a similar principle to an immunosuppressant in a transplant operation, in that it stops your body from rejecting the unfamiliar part of itself. In the case of your frame, the unfamiliar part is each of your biosynthetic organ groups, which over time are identified by your body as foreign material and therefore must be eliminated. Sabine holds up a vial of the would-be stabilizer. However, unlike an immunosuppressant, the stabilizer doesn't do this by limiting your entire immune system. Instead, it re-encodes your biosynthetic organs with new protein chains which act as passcodes with your immune system. The stabilizer refreshes those passcodes, keeping your frames from rejecting all of its own organs. Which means the stabilizer should be able to encode any organic or biosynthetic matter to be accepted by your immune system. They glance away. At least if the stabilizer is genuine. The only way to know for sure is to inject the vial. They begin readying the syringe. I will start with a small dose to limit the risk. Okay, let's do it. Sabine cracks the glass neck of the stabilizer vial and uses a syringe to extract a fraction of the liquid. They tap the syringe, and you watch as if any sign might emerge from the clear liquid. You barely feel the needle, your frame registering the initial injection, but with little response. A sensation begins to spread from the site, a fizzing, trembling wave that disperses through your arm with incredible speed. Your vision goes white And when it returns, Sabine appears encased in shards of sparkling light that slowly fade into darkness as you settle back against the bed. You swim in darkness, muffled noises, like an argument heard from underwater, prickling waves of cold. When you sit back up, Sabine is sitting in a chair by the window, facing away from you, backlit by the glow of their slate. Awake? What happened? Stabilizer's genuine. They sit down beside you. I don't know how yet again acquired a case of this stuff, but they did. Sabine looks troubled, distracted. You should rest some more, but you are going to have to do that somewhere else. They gestured to the door. I have other patients. Sorry. Sabine nods towards the case. I'm afraid I can't offer you any more doses. You are going to need to pay for your next dose. Silence fills the room, and they return to their glowing slate. Looking around the room, it seems different somehow, as if things have moved or shifted. You wonder how long you've been out. How's Citizen Sleeper been? It's been pretty good so far. My only complaint is I couldn't go into the options to adjust the sound on the main menu, and the game didn't tell me I needed to use scroll wheel to look around the ship. But, like, you know, nothing too terrible so far. Sabine? Nothing comes free, Sleeper. Remember that. You manage to get to your feet and wander out into the hallway. The queue stretches down the flickering corridor. Toshiro stands impatiently by the door and fixes you with his glare as you leave. You lower your eyes as you stumble past, somehow faintly aware of the station spinning beneath you. Very interesting. Okay. Well, I guess let's click on it again. How much am I going to need for my injections? 100. Okay. So I need 100 every so often to refill my vial, and I need 15 every so often to keep myself fed. Taking notes? Yeah. As is always the case when I've beaten this game, possibly when I've 100%ed it, depending on how much extra effort 100%ing is, I will get a review written up and post it on my Discord. Seems like we don't need it super often. Probably not. I guess the main thing is, like, we will probably hit this threshold where we lose a die pretty soon. But the longer we're willing to hold out, like, we only die if it goes completely out. So it's like, you know, how much are you willing to go down before you refresh? Got the goods? Hell yeah. Also, speaking of the Discord, I'll go ahead and plug that real quick. As always, you guys can feel free to join the Discord if you like. I do polls for what game I'm going to play next. I write reviews, and it's just like a chill community with a bunch of other streamers if you like. But yeah, figured I'd share. Let's see. I'm going to want that data soon. Okay, one more 6 should finish my forensic trawl. Let's do that. Get that out of the way. Bam. Alright, Winterlight, and we got a scrap item. We got another ship mine fragment. Cool. Okay. Is something going to happen? Oh, here we go. Continue. Squeezed into the office at the entrance to the yard, you lay out everything you have on the Winterlight across the metal desk. Your makeshift forensic notes glow on Dragos' old writing slate, overlapping lines and scrawled annotations. A set of drone scans fill the small terminal with a spectrum of colors, a heat map of damage and decay. A crumpled printout from the office's ship registry lies beside them. Synthetic paper so thin, it's almost transparent. Let's look at the printout first. A plain list shows the registration history of the Winterlight. The gaps between the entries tantalizingly opaque. Its first registration was a couple of thousand cycles ago on this very station, logged at the central hub. From here, the registry tells the story of a busy ship, one that rarely stayed on station for more than a few cycles, and often took on voyages that kept it away from the eye for
up to 100 cycles. The Winterlight got little rest. Look at the monitor. Reactor failure. That is the verdict that anyone who would have returned. Bleh. That is the verdict that anyone would have returned after a cursory glance at these stacked heat maps of the remains of the Winterlight. On the terminal screen, the ship is shown in sections, blotches of color marking the appropriate damage that the ship sustained. Dominating the view is a single blood-red rose radiating from the ship's fraction drive. A simple story. A catastrophic failure of the drive core leading to a fatal hull breach. A well-documented failure, likely brought on by wear or misuse. But you aren't looking at the rose of the reactor. You're looking at a smaller, paler mark, one that might be easy to miss at first glance. It is thumbprint-sized and delicately placed over the control servos of the ship's main external airlock. It suggests a controlled, shaped explosion, one designed to punch through the hull and allow access to the airlock from the other side. You're looking at it because it is troubling you. Look at the slate. One second. Okay. Your attempts at reconstruction of this Winterlight before its fatal accident consists of a series of overlapping sketches and diagrams showing possible layouts and configurations of the gutted cutter. This was no off-the-shelf model. It was heavily modified, parts replaced with inventive configurations, the new retrofitted into the old, handmade joints and reconditioned filters. This was someone's pride and joy, a lifetime project kept running with care and intuition. It also contained a set of hidden compartments. You missed them at first, where the hull had been thickened, the corners rounded to disguise the change. But they're there. An old ship, many cycles under its belt, carefully maintained. A reactor failure preceded by a carefully concealed external entry. A suite of hidden compartments tucked away. This was the story of the Winterlight, and this was its story. Or this was the Winterlight, and this was its story. But that's not the full story, because there's something else. It is little more than a list, a tiny chunk of data you were able to pull from the ship's systems. The main systems were fried, of course, but the Winterlight had a separate system, one tucked away in one of the hidden compartments, armored, air-walled. This list, the only recoverable piece from the whole system, is a partial inventory. It details the contents of the hidden compartments, some of which you recognize, some of which you don't. Ship mined ROMs, shimmer, cryo chain codes, and the final entry, passenger, sleeper. You stare at the list on the terminal and try not to think about what it was like arriving here. In the cold for so long, half frozen in the freight container. Had this sleeper been smarter? Luckier? How had they convinced the Winterlight, a smuggler's ship if you've ever saw one, to extract them from SNR? Luckier. You laugh. There had been no remains found in any of the Winterlight's compartments. You checked. They weren't so lucky, you guess, not in the end. You hold up a vial of stabilizer to the light. This was all you find in their compartment. A parting gift from SNR. Well, it won't go to waste now. You put it in your back pocket. The thought still bothers you, though. 2 ships carrying sleepers coming into the same yard. 2, one after the other. That feels wrong. You flick back and forth between the datasets in your terminal, thinking. And you see that thumbprint again, the mark of someone trying to get in. Someone who entered the Winterlight with precision and speed, and when they were done, left the reactor to clean up the rest. The thought of that person makes you shiver. Suddenly, the office door creaks open. Drago stands in the doorway, staring at the equipment, and notes you've assembled.
What's this?
He snatches the slate from the desk faster than you realized he could move.
You're running an investigation here? What am I paying you for?
The drone on his shoulder starts whirring shrilly, his anger passing to it through his implants. Where's this ship from?
Leave this alone.
He starts shaking his head.
I know you have a lot of questions, but this isn't the way.
He turns away, muttering to himself.
This is the last thing I need.
Who's bringing you these ships? Dragos freezes, suddenly angry.
Why are you asking? You looking to get us both killed? We cut these things up, that's our part. Their part's something I don't want to know. Drago seems to steady himself and then turns back to you, the heat map of the reactor failure reflected in the headset's glassy eyes. I've given you a place to stay. I've given you work. He stumbles over the words, unsure what to say. There's plenty others who would have sold you, turned you in, but not me, no. I appreciate that, but... Don't, he shakes his head. I'm not discussing my business with you. He quiets the drone. I've done well by you, and you've returned the favor. He straightens up and clears his throat. But this obsession you have with this ship isn't going to work for me. I can't have you making my clients nervous. Can't have you digging up whatever it is you are after. You can't work here anymore. What about the winter light? He reaches over and switches the monitor off. Forget about the damn ship. You have enough to keep you up. Dragos reaches across and flicks off the terminal. As lights of the monitor dies, a kind of eerie calm falls on both of you. Whatever this was, it is done. You made it out, Sleeper. That means you have to move on. What if they come after me? Then you run. You don't come here. You don't scream. You don't shout. You run. In the dark, Dragos' headset glints, and you wish for a moment you could see his eyes and meet them. Maybe then he would understand. You get up from the desk and Dragos gathers the notes, stuffing them into a pocket of his overalls. He holds the door for you, his headset as expressionless as always. You can stay in the container. I won't take that from you. Don't come back. His tone is final, definite, with an edge of disappointment. You walk out of the office, then out of the yard, not stopping to look back. You leave the yard, thumbing the vial in your pocket, knowing that this at least guarantees you a little more time. And as you walk, your mind once again drifts to that person who killed the winter light, and whether or not that person will come after you. Fellow traveler, find a gift from someone like you hidden away. So you have a stabilizer, but at the cost of I can no longer work in the scrapyard, and Dragos doesn't like me anymore. Interesting. All right. Well, it's time for another ad break. We'll do that real quick, and then I will be right back. See you guys in 3 minutes.
And we're back. Thank you everyone for waiting through the ads. We did get an upgrade point. That was completing a quest, or a drive rather. So the question is, what do we want to use it on? And I think it might be good to use it on intuition. And now we have this 4 and this 6 to use. And we have, here in Data World, yeah, Solheim Cipher. Let's pop this bitch. Gate S7 access. With a squawk of noise, the old gate flips open, granting access. Yeah, 4 Solheim nodes. Or no, 3 Solheim nodes. That's the key node that was already there. Node is leaking corrupted contractor lists from the early days of a systems palladium rush with a 1 or a 3. Can't do that one. A Solheim daemon attempts to protect this node, squeaking out protective protocols like a mantra. A 2 or a 3. That's a good use for this too. Let's do that. Get out of here, daemon. And give me $5. There we go. Got some Solheim data. And the last one. This network storage holds corporate records, most of them corrupted by a failed system purge. A 4 or a 2. Might come back here when I have a 2 and use this 4 for something else. Yeah. That's not ready yet. Alright, let's go to Fang. Hey Fang, have some data. $15 Creo, 1 scoping the system. Okay, so I'm going to need 2 more data pings. I've still got a fair number of bips before the tracker gets here. Might be good to start making friends at the shipyard so that I can continue to have a job. Got chicken enchiladas for dinner? Oh, that sounds good. I think for dinner tonight, I'll have to ask Emmy if this is what she wants to do, but we got a take and bake pizza from Aldi, and going to chop up a Roma tomato and take some feta crumbles and sprinkle it on top. Have ourselves a nice little feta tomato pizza. It's the week of her birthday, so we're, despite the fact that we don't have almost any money, we're trying to do a little something to celebrate, so. Sounds so good. Thank you. Happy birthday? Yeah. Everyone telling me happy birthday. Her actual birthday's on Thursday, so excuse me. Everyone has to be here on Thursday. All right, let's go to the shipyard. I think I need to start making friends. Yeah, I need to start working on being a yard hand here. So I could be... Yeah, hauling materials looks way too dangerous. I'd rather risk some energy than some condition, I think. Alright. Let's do this. Neutral outcome. We got 1 ping on yard hand. Man. Not great. Alright. Off to sleep. I think we'll do 1 more day and then we'll probably wrap up. Okay, and here's where I can inject myself. A corporate insurance policy to disincentivize escapees like you. Okay. Time to end the cycle. Alright, 1 more day. Birthday times, happy birthday, yeah! Okay, you're right, it does ping 2 at a time, so I need to stagger eating. Oh, but I've got 5 dice today, that's good news. Okay, I think the first... nothing's popped a new clock, right? Yeah. Build a ship mine, disable your tracker, extract the past. Yeah. Get to know Memphis and survive. Okay, I'll get that completed whenever I buy my next vial of stabilizer. Interesting. I could go ahead and buy it. I don't have very much money, though. And I gotta do food today. Probably. Okay. This one is a 1 or a 3. Let's pop that. Got that Solheim data. And the other one is a 4 or a 2. I can pop one of these 2s. I didn't get my money bonus. Is it just once per day? Where'd my character go? Character? Can I not bring it up unless I'm ready for level up? Oh well. Okay. Then let's go to Fangs. Let's give him both of these datas. That'll get me some money, and that'll get this scoping the systems completed. Fantastic. As you enter the bay, Fang is nowhere to be seen. The banks of servers and machines blink out of the dark in staccato rhythms, unseeing eyes of the station's digital ghosts. Shitheads! Fang's voice echoes from behind the stack, followed by a hammer of fist on a metal casing. These snaky shitheads. Who's snaky? Sleeper! Fang's smiling head pops out from behind a stack. Just the emulated consciousness I have been eager to see. Come back here. You pick your way between the thrumming stacks, trying not to trip on the loose bundles of cables that blink at the dark floor. Fang is sat in the front of a set of monitors mounted to a stack. Tell me, Sleeper, what do you see here? Fang waves at the monitor to his side, glowing with pale lists of information. You lean in closer, looking for the links in the data. The tables seem to be filled with personal information, names, genders, dates, ID records, all the markers of institutional records. Shitheads? Fang laughs. Maybe not all of them, but what kind of shitheads? Solheim? Bingo. He taps at the terminal. I pulled these from the old data you brought in. All employees of the Eye's original owners. And he leans past you and scrolls the list down. This one. This is a snaky shithead. He stabs at the screen with a finger. The name reads Hardin Hurst. Who's Hardin? That, says Fang, giving you a sideways look, is the thing. He drags a stool out behind him and motions for you to sit. There just so happens to be a Hardin Hurst in Haven Age. He waits for your reaction. In Haven Age? That's it. He's right here on the station now. Fang leans back in his chair. Just think about it. Decades ago, Hardin worked on this station as a... Fang leans across to look at the monitor. Senior Strategic Operations Executive. Fang raises his eyebrows at you. Our Hardin was keeping the money coming in for Solheim. He defined priority growth initiatives by making sure the extractors they contracted out to were hooked into a system that outsourced all the risk and kept the profit. Good old Hardin shuttled thousands of Palladium Rush workers into an infrastructure, which meant that the cut of the work they did went back into Solheim. How do you know this? I grew up here, Sleeper. This is my history. I'm a child of the collapse. Fang turns back to his screen, staring hard at the string of codes flickering by. Before I was born, my parents were Solheim contractors. They ate in Solheim canteens, worked on Solheim ships. They breathed Solheim air and slept in Solheim beds. Fang's voice rises as he speaks, his hands fists on the terminals. And the work that paid for that existence, the cycles of hard extraction out in the belt, Solheim took their cut. This was a company town, so to speak,
and my parents were just another in the long line of freelance contractors willing to risk their lives for any shot at anything other than poverty. Disposable. This guy, stabbing at Hardin once again with his finger, strategized all that, did the sums, and then somehow, thousands and thousands of cycles later, is still going, still here, crawling in the walls like some sort of shithead snake. He survived the revolution. Surely it can't be him? Fang relaxes a little. Who knows? He turns to you and smiles. So we're going to find out. Hardin is now a big shot in the shipyards, just a few degrees back around the eye from here. Fang brings up a map of the lower eye. Have an age might be born out of Erlen's revolutionary zeal, but a flat hierarchy it is not. Hardin happened to float to the top. Fang zooms in on the far yards. Fang grimaces. The thing is, I don't have access to those systems. The shipyard crew is pretty paranoid, and they don't like anyone from systems digging around in their stuff. Plus, we need more than just the name of a Solheim executive. We need proof. Fang holds up a thumbnail-sized drive. That's where this little creation of mine comes in. I call it a ripper worm. He turns the drive between his fingers. It'll rip through any digital storage and spin out a silken thread of filtered data. This one is set on the scent of Hardenhurst. He hands it over. Getting into the compound might be tricky. Fang puts a hand on his shoulder. But you, however, have a particular knack for remote access. Fang grins. If you can extract yourself a Haven Age cipher from a Haven Age agent, they sometimes carry among their data caches, you can crack open the compound's network and slot the worm in through any open port. You never even need to go near the shipyards. So what do you say? Up for it? And what's in it for me? Rooting out a corrupt snake not good enough? Find the information and I'll start work on that tracker of yours. Fang scratches his chin. Anything the worm gets, it'll send it back here to me. There's something wrong here, and I aim to get to the rotten core of it. You leave Fang digging through data among the wires and machines of the old station. As you walk out, you try to imagine the Eye as it once was, a vast machine running smooth and strong, directed by people like Hardin. A vast Solheim-built machine into which thousands poured from the surrogate systems looking for a new life. The hope of a better future engineered to line someone else's pocket. It's an idea you're intimately familiar with. You think of Hardin still alive, still part of this place, and wonder if the past is ever truly past. Okay. So, does that open a new thing in the date, or not in the boop. Ripper Worm, self-guided program that scalps data. Yeah, I need the Haven Age cipher. Keynote, beep boop bop. Haven Age agent. I could maybe get something out of him. Is this not? Okay. Surprised this hasn't gone dark. Is it not done? Oh, maybe it's repeatable? Maybe I can hack him again? I don't know. Okay, so this agent needs a 2 or a 3. I mean, this is a good place to use my bad dice, so let's use our 2. 5 cryo. More Haven Age data. That is a cipher. Okay, cool. Then we can run down here. Use the cipher. Gate H4 access, -1 Haven Age cipher. So if I had made friends with the shipyard, I could have gotten in here a different way. You're in. Huh, these are together. Okay. Slot Ripper Worm. An open port sits waiting for you to slot in your Ripper Worm. What will you find? Alright, go get him, Worm. The worm slots in and begins tunneling down a thread. Godspeed, little one. New agent over here. Okay.
but not something I need to worry about right now. Has that. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Updated things for Fang. Not yet. We're going to have to wait a few days for the Ripper Worm to do its thing. But at least it's in right away. If it needs 3 days, then I'm glad that I did it early because 1, 2, 3... I would have only had 2 days of buffer before the agent caught us. Okay. So what to do with the rest of my time? Or the rest of my dice, I should say. I'm going to need food. Let's go ahead and spend 15 cryo. Yum, 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 yum. Yeah, 3 energy. And we've maxed out Fungus Fan. Hooray!
Hey, boss. Sleeper.
Emphas calls out to you, a booming voice that echoes through the corridor.
Tell me a story.
He throws a handful of chopped mushrooms into his wok, the fire leaping up to meet the oil.
I see you, cycle in, cycle out. We never speak. Tell me a story.
What kind?
Any kind.
He pauses to drizzle something from a plastic bottle into the wok.
Well, one of yours.
He looks up to you.
Nothing stolen.
He pauses, the spice is rich in your nostrils, and you think about the kind of story you would like to tell Emphas. You look at Emphas, the listener, and imagine he has heard it all before. Perhaps he would enjoy a strange story, something with some spice. Tell him about your dreams. All the sleepers, you tell Emphas, have had dreams. Some were simple, memories left over from the emulation process that had become tangled up in their minds and would come out when they slept. It wasn't rare to hear a sleeper in the dorms scream or cry out in the night. But your dreams, those gray skeletal afterimages of systems and structures, of threads and patterns, weren't like the others. They weren't memories or nightmares. They were reflections of reality. Distorted, yes, but somehow true. You learned, back then, to keep quiet about them, to let them flow through your mind like water. That was until now, until you arrived in this place. Now your dreams colonize your waking life. They slip behind your eyelids with every blink, and now you understand they aren't dreams at all, but some process of interfacing, of speaking, of living in another world that flows through this one, like smoke through air. You tell him that you do not know if there is a reason for your dreams. Perhaps you reason it is some sort of side effect or a particular quality of the frame you inhabit. But whatever it is a gift, and you hope to make use of it. Emphas finishes cooking and squints a little at you.
Sleeper.
He smiles.
You're quite the storyteller.
He eyes you, and you realize that he is trying to gauge how honest you have been in your story. Emphas passes you the meal he has cooked, and you take it gratefully. As you eat, he talks, a natural exchange.
Thank you, Sleeper.
He looks around at the emptying market.
But my time is done for today, and I do not wish to keep you longer, so I will make a proposal.
He gestures to the plastic boxes of ingredients stacked behind the stall.
These are good enough for most, but someone told me a story that made me think a couple of cycles ago. They said that across the gap, in the Greenway, fresh mushrooms grow. Have you heard this?
No.
Neither had I, but I'll trust the one who told me.
Emphas begins packing up his things.
Can you bring me some? I cannot cross the gap, and I worry about leaving my things behind.
He smiles.
I'm sure a storyteller like you could handle the trip. I'll prepare them for you, and if you wish to tell it, be the audience for another story.
Agreed.
Good, booms Emphas. Then I will wait for you to bring them.
Emphas slides his walk away and straightens up.
I will prepare the recipe then, Sleeper. Good luck with your foraging.
You turn away and walk back into the main market, the rich taste of Emphas's food still lingering in your mouth. Stories for food, you think. A trade system that seems most fair. Oh, cool. I got an extra eat out of that. Girole fricassee. Emphas wants to make this old recipe. He needs 3 handfuls of girole cups, fresh and firm. I don't know where the gap is. Potentially it's through the low-end gate. Port exchange. Yeah, this keeps on ticking. Okay. I don't know if this is a one-day pass is one thing I'm worried about. I'm going to hope that it isn't and that I can just pay through to get through here once. You hand over the chits to Yatagan Enforcer and he nods you through. Low-end access granted. Low-end, Ramshackle Residential District. And way over here, the Free Spoke, towering transit hub. And then very, very far at the back, the Founder's Gap, the gap in the ring station. Pay for passage. To reach the Greenway, you need to pay for a pass. A practice invented by the spacers moored here. They call it the Founder's Ferry. 150 crypto. Quite expensive. Free Spoke. Oh boy. I can barely see the screen. So our clock here is Spoke Climber. The spoke is layer after layer after layer of dense urban fabric. The only way to explore it is vertically. Both of these ping up Spoke Climber at the cost of potentially condition or energy. Enter the spoke, a tangled network of service passages and makeshift tunnels. Cut through the spoke as if it were a hive. There are no maps here. Or scale the spoke, blistering with precarious elevators and stairways. The spoke can be navigated from the outside, but the climb requires bravery. So this is more dangerous, but we get a bonus, and this is less dangerous, but we don't. Oh, hi, Jova. How you doing? Everyone, make sure you check out Jova, fellow skunk VTuber, and a fantastic time to be around. How you doing today, Jova? And low end. What's in low end? Our clock here is low ender. No one knows you're here. You'll need to change that if you want to access the low end residents and facilities. We can do that. We can gain and or lose energy by doing block maintenance as an engineer. Maintained by their residents, the ramshackle blocks are always in need of repairs. Helping out is a good way to make friends. And over here, we could lose cryo, but we can gain low ender quickly by playing Tavla. The clack of filter caps can be heard in the everyday concourse in the low end, as the residents play rotating rounds of this game for cryo. Okay, well that would put my 5 up to a 6. Let's play Tavla. We could win some money, and we can build up our low ender reputation. Slowly making a cool logo. Aw, hell yeah. That sounds fun. Let's see where a win gets us. We would get 3 money. Not very much, but we got 2 pips towards low ender. Okay. Oh. Mini G Express. Noodle Factory and Delivery. We gain a lot of energy or a little energy by noodle manufacturing. Mingi has a kelp stack in the basement, and he makes noodles from seaweed. Doesn't pay much, but he'll feed anyone who does a shift. Okay, so that's a way to make food if we are completely out of money. Or we can make money by doing deliveries. Delivering noodles to the nameless units on the low end takes guts and certain fearlessness when it comes to asking for tips. Okay. Don't want to do either of those. Don't know if I want to do the free spoke right now. Rotato. What do I want to do? Could make friends here at the rotunda. I might not need to make friends here at the shipyard anymore. Though that does feel bad, like I may have wasted a die. I don't really want to... I'm going to have to take risks eventually. But I want to avoid taking risks. Can I now access data pips over here? Yeah. Keynote 21. This personal terminal is empty apart from a single high-end encryption. And the yet again agent from before. Okay. I don't think I want to waste this 4 on a data. So, do I try to push things to continue at the shipyard? I don't think I want to risk unloading contents here. I get a +1 here, which bumps me up to a 5. Let's play the exchange. We got a good chance of getting some money, and we would build up some trusted trader. Yep, 12 money and 1 point towards trusted trader. Okay. And we go to sleep. Alright. Not great dice. But we'll see how it goes. Okay. Well, that's been the start of Citizen Sleeper. I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. This is what we're going to be doing for the next little bit. We're going to have to start making increasingly difficult decisions, no doubt.
Good girl. Good girl. Who's a good girl? You are. Yes, you are.
Thank you for the head pats. Okay, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll do more of this starting tomorrow. As always, you guys can follow me on the socials. I've got a Discord that's a nice chill community. I've got a Blue Sky. I always post when I'm going live. And if you guys wouldn't mind grabbing yourselves a raid message. Thank you for the stream. Thanks for being here. Always good to see you. Let's... Boop, boop. Bye, Drag. Let's see who's online for raiding purposes. Not very many people. I guess we can raid in Keelia. Keelia is playing that Mortal Shell 2 that I see a lot of people have been playing recently. Go say hi to her. And yeah. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. And we'll be back soon. Bye. Bye.